First of all, I welcome Mr. Brijesh to our this interview session. I'm really thankful to him to spare from his busy schedule. And a part of our MBA curriculum, we are taking interview of an entrepreneur who have started their own businesses and have excelled in their own businesses. So first of all, I shall give a brief outlook of the Mr. Brijesh Makat. Initially, the schooling and the initial career, Mr. Brijesh did his schooling from Good Shepherd School, Ooty, and after graduating in business management, he started his career at the age of 20 and started assisting his father in electrical contacts at Calicut, Kerala. And after working for almost 18 years in this field, and after understanding the nuances of the businesses, he appeared as a successful entrepreneur. And one of the prestigious project of, modifying the Calicut airport was in his credit. Thereafter, he started a diversification of his business, wherein he started in real estate, electrical contracts, and branded apparel fields. He has an overall 25 years of the experience. In year 2000, he stepped into the real estate businesses, where he started buying and selling the real estate. He also had a franchise of the Raymond Apparel. Mr. Brijesh is very avid swimmer and is fond of playing snooker, and he also loves to work out regularly. As far as the CSR, the field is concerned, Mr. Brijesh is a very active member of the Calicut Cosmopolitan Club and Officer Club. Calicut Cosmopolitan Club promotes the social cause among the club members, and similarly, Officer Club provide facilities and also promote the cultural and social activities for the members. He also served with the retired and the serving government officials while interacting with both these clubs, and which have helped him in a lot of his endeavors. He is an active member of the palliative group Calicut, who is providing medical support to poor people who cannot afford medical access. Thank you much, Mr. Brijesh, for joining us. We shall commence the interview with you. I request my team member to start the interview with Mr. Brijesh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So first of all, I want to congratulate you, sir, that you have completed enormous 25 years in a different businesses. And so my first question to you is, as you started with your father's electrical business, how did you get motivation to switch your domain to real estate, and how did you convince yourself that this is your call?
I mean, soon after my studies, after me completing my business management studies, my every time passion was to enter business. And from ever since I started schooling, my ambition was to be a businessman. Soon after me completing my business management, I entered my father's business, and that was a time when he was getting old and he required some help from some third party or somebody else. Actually, he didn't have a very good manager or anything, so he was getting help from, a staff was there to help him. He is not much educated. So since he was in the field of contracting, there are a lot of terms and clauses to be read while signing a government contract. And also for quoting of the rates, the calculation and everything, he just know what are the works, what that item is actually doing. But to quote the proper rate and everything, he needed assistance. So that was a space where I entered. I was actually going to join him. So I started learning from what those people were assisting him to do. For reading the clauses, understanding the items, for quoting of the tenders. So these things, since I was educated, it was easy for him to pursue everything in a very short span of time. In a matter of 3-4 months, I could understand what is happening in this business. and then I could assist him from his personal side. So then I started helping him with the contract work, being with them, learning from the side how the work has been executed, how the bills are prepared, and a lot of things got to do with the contracts. Then how to approach the government officials, and those things I actually learned from my father. Like, we have to be very endown to them. We should be, very cordial, and we should be able to maintain a very good rapport with them. So the kind of behavior we have to, follow, and we can't be very adamant to anything in front of them. So that kind of diplomacy and everything I had to learn from him. Then actually I started assisting him in all his contract work. So slowly, the tender quoting parts and the reading, the clauses, everything, I got accustomed with it. So I was a person who was then quoting the tenders for him. Then after a couple of years, then I also started taking contracts, like what he takes. Those contracts I started doing a subcontract from him. Even I needed, I was not getting any salary or anything from him, like an old traditional business, family business. So he used to give me, if I need any help and all, he'll give me for my pocket money, small pocket money. But I was very ambitious. I wanted money for my own. Can't keep asking every time for my needs. So since I was very passionate, I had a lot of other dreams. So I started taking subcontracts from him. Subcontracts in the sense, I will quote the tender in his name, then I will execute that all by myself. So at that time, my financer was like my mother itself. She used to lend me some money, and I used to execute the works, get good profits. Actually, at that point of time, the profits were very good. Actually, 40-50% used to get, if we take a contract, almost 40-50% was the profit at that time. So I could, give back my mother's money with some, interest and make some good profit out of it. Like that, I started, I used to assist my dad also my own contracts. Then later, after my marriage, actually I have to do something of my own. So I started taking a contract license in my name. Then I started, my father was only doing electrical contracts. Then after me, in the meanwhile, I got into civil works also. I started learning civil work from my friends. So when I took the license, I took a civil license, because since my father is already having an electrical license, I took a civil license. Then I started taking civil contract works. And also I was assisting my dad, but I started my own also, my civil wing. I started civil contracts. So like that kept on going. Then I said, as I took the civil contract license, I needed some serious funding. So I approached the banks. My father had already told me, he will not be able to help me in any manner if I am taking. I told him, I'm going to take a separate license. I had to inform him. But then he said from the very outset, he won't be able to help me in any manner financially for those things. So I said, okay, but I went to the bank. So bank and all, since my father was dealing with the bank for a long time, I'll be the person who will be going and, getting the things done for him from the bank. So I am very well versed with the staff and the manager there. So I went and asked the manager for a loan. So he said, you're most welcome. Then he asked me for a collateral. So that was what I was not having with me. He needed some land or something to give me the loan against. He needs some collateral. So then that put me in a dilemma, as to what to do. I don't have a property in my name, nor do I have the money to purchase one. Then, I had a wild idea. There were lands in Wayanad at that time, which we could get for a cheaper price. So I went and looked for an extent of 42.5 cents of a land. So that was costing me that time, they said 10,000%. The total cost was around 4.25 lakhs. So I understood that the market value of that particular property is around 25,000%, but the person who was selling it was not much aware, and he was in need of some money. He was ready to give me for a 10,000%. Then I raised that money from one of my relatives. I told them, I need some money, 4.25 lakhs, and I'll be repaying you back in a matter of 10 days. Though then he helped me with that money. I went and bought that property, 4.25 lakhs. I went to the bank. the manager sent for the valuator to value that property, and that person valued it for 25,000. So so I applied for this loan over my projected balance sheets. So they were able to give me a loan of about 8 lakhs. So after me repaying back that 4.25, I had some money to start my own contracts. Like that, I actually started with that kind of money. I started my work, government contract, because already the contracts were there in my favor. So I could give to the bank over the projection balance sheet. I was able to achieve that loan, and I paid back that money in a week's time, that 4.25. Then I had that balance money with me to continue with my contracts. Then, in a matter of after around 2 or 3 weeks, that person sold the balance land. He had actually more than an acre of land, in which I have taken only 4.25 cents. So the balance around 20 cents he was selling for 20,000. Later, after 1 month, I heard he sold for 25,000. So actually, at that time when he sold, he was not much aware of the prices, or maybe he was in need of some fund. So I was lucky. After 2 years, a broker approached me for that particular land which I bought for 10,000%. He came and asked me for 44,000. That is when I realized the money is growing much with the land rather than me taking contracts. At the time, when I was taking the contracts, the profit had come down to around 10, 15, 20%. So it was a tough thing to, go on. I have to pay the bank interest, and also with this stringent kind of margin. Since by the time I entered, a lot of people started entering this field, and the rates, the margins had come down in the government contracts. So I understood my land was getting more valuation than the profits I'm getting from my contracts. So I found that my land is having a good price. I sold that land. Then again, I was having surplus money. That is when I started getting into real estate. Then I started finding better valued properties in Wayanad. The people who are in need of money would sell for a good price. I would buy it, keep it, I'll make some development, and I started selling. So that is when I got into the real estate. That was not a deliberate entry, but it so happened I came to understand from that, for the point of that loan, I needed that collateral. So at the time of buying, and that I understood the kind of appreciation that property was giving me. So then I started entering real estate, and I used to make some good money in real estate.